Alright guys, we're gonna get started in just a bit. We're waiting for one last player to connect into this game, and there it is. We've got this game on the road. It's Mineski X now going up against Awake players from Thailand, while Mineski X, I believe they're from Malaysia. It's going to be a best of one knockout for the quarterfinals, and yes, this time around we really are in the quarterfinals for the Manila Major SEA Open qualifiers. Thank you for tuning in, folks. I'm ClouDx from AFK Gaming, and yeah, I'm going to be solo casting once again. Mineski on the Radiant side, or rather Mineski X on the Radiant side, with Awake taking up the Dire. We just saw Mineski X playing this very mid-game aggressive, mid-game aggression styled Dota, and they took a very convincing victory over Wecan. Let's see if they can pull up something similar here versus Awake. However, Team Awake, they're no pushovers, very well-known names in the Thailand esports circuit. Toy, a name that really does stand out and has been around for a while now. So we'll wait and watch how this game's gonna play out. Puck and Axe gonna get banned out, so it's like we see something new every single time we pick up a new team here. Every single team has their own flavor in Southeast Asia, and they're not afraid to reveal their hand early on. So Alchemist gets banned out. Give me a moment, guys. Looks like my internet might have just spiked. Are we RIP? Am I talking to myself? No, looks like the stream's still up, so I think I'm gonna reconnect to this game real quickly. Hopefully we'll be able to get back into the game, because sometimes Dota TV does act funky with us. I'm gonna alt-tab once real quick and check if everything's okay. Yep, we look like we're alive for now. I will be a little distracted for the next couple of minutes. There's a delay on the stream, so I'll need to know if the stream does restart. So hopefully you guys in chat can let me know if you can hear me okay. I'll be checking chat from time to time. So moving on with the game, you've got Mirana getting first picked up by Mineski. They've got themselves another pick on the board, but Mirana does seem to be something that they like to run. They'll be supplementing it with a lone druid this time, and that's their first two picks. So yeah, I can definitely get behind a Mirana and a lone druid opening duo. They did show us that Mirana is legit as a one position hero when you want to play mid game aggressive Dota, and lone druid just fits perfectly into that playstyle. On the other side, meanwhile, you've got the Doombringer and the Bounty Hunter getting banned out by Team Awake. Sorry, picked up by Team Awake. So I'm expecting, of course, a roaming support Bounty Hunter and possibly an offlane Doom. I don't think it's a great idea to be running a support Doom in addition to a support Bounty Hunter. And Mineski X, they probably noticed this as well. I think a good way to punish this now is to just build your tri-lane in a way that can deal with the off-lane Doom. And for that, you basically need heroes that can shut down his regen, or heroes that can stun lock him long enough. Mirana's a great way to start things off. Maybe they'll get a Shadow Demon or something to supplement that Mirana.
Dire team back.
Slock will be the third ban, however, from Mineski X. As for Awake, will they go a similar route as Wecan did, banning out heroes like the Bane that synergize really well with the Mirana?
5 seconds remaining.
Well, Mineski X did like their Puck, but Puck's been taken out of the pool already. I am curious to see what they'll run at the middle lane in his stead, or rather her stead. We don't know if Puck's a male or a female actually. Void will be the ban coming out so far. However, I don't think Mineski X had Void on their minds. I'm still expecting a core Mirana here and an offlane lone druid. An offlane lone druid shouldn't have too much of an issue with that roaming Bounty Hunter for now. The Savage Roar is a spell that works wonderfully against the Bounty Hunter when he comes in with that Junara hit.
Reserve time. Dire team
Spectre
back.
gonna be fourth banned here. Let's see what gets banned out next here by the Dire side. I'm gonna just quickly alt-tab once, guys. Hopefully the delay has caught up and I'll know if the stream has potatoed. Yeah, looks like we're good. So that little spike was no more than just a little spike. Thank you, RNGesus, for blessing my internet connection today. So, what else does Mineski X need here? Juggernaut's gonna get banned, so they're still not convinced that this is a core Mirana. I'm guessing they didn't get a chance to watch Mineski X's last match. But if they did, they probably would not have banned out the Juggernaut and the Void. So for supports, what could Mineski X pick up here to synergize up against that Doom? Void has been banned as an offlaner, so setups for that arrow would be the Shadow Demon with the Disruption, the Bane with the Nightmare. Alternatively, will they go for something like the Oracle, or is that just a situational pick that they pulled out to deal with the Darkseer? Yeah, the Darkseer is still in the pool as well though, so we could see either side picking it up. They'll go with the Slaughter again, so they do seem to have this one fixed flavor. We should see Johnny playing the Slaughter again, which means that this could be a mid Lone Druid or a mid Mirana again. Man, these guys just love throwing curveballs. Either they've picked up all three of their cores in their first three phase, or they're going to be running this as a support Mirana, which is in stark contrast to what they did in game 1 versus or rather in the previous game versus Weekend. Lion will be the third pick though, coming out from Awake, and I can definitely see some sort of a pattern in their draft, so it does seem to be a lot easier to predict who's going where. Expecting a safe lane Lion in the support role with the roaming bounty, and an off lane / jungle Doom.
5 seconds remaining.
Mineski X though, how are they going to approach this situation now? The Lion does have the lockdown needed to deal with the Slaughter in the laning phase. But with the Lion Bounty Hunter +1, I don't know if that's enough to really zone out the Slaughter. Hmm. 1 minute on the clock. Reserve time still available in abundance for both teams. With the fourth pick on the board here, Mineski X. They're looking for supports. We know that they need at least one support at this point. A Vengeful Spirit perhaps. What's really surprising me is that Batrider is still in the pool here. Yeah, she's kind of the no-brainer that will get picked up, and we're also seeing the synergy with the negative armor from the Wave of Terror and the amplify damage from the Slaughter. That's a great way to deal with the Doom, the early Wave of Terror in the laning phase against a hero that has basically 0 armor to begin with. It's probably the most efficient way to deal with the Doom actually. Maybe we're going to see a support Slaughter here. It's not all that common, but it has been done in the past. And it might actually work here. They'll have a lot of physical damage to go through the Doom in the early laning phase. And they'll have 3 stuns to lock him down and finish the job on him. However, Doom is one of those heroes that could jump into the jungle and pretty much ditch the off lane while keeping pace in terms of levels. Zeus. This is a hero that seemed like he was falling out of favor in Southeast Asia, but they're bringing him back here on the side of Awake.
Dire team back.
But no Zeus Spectre shenanigans this game, just the mid Zeus by the looks of it, which means that Awake still needs a 1 position, aka a core or a carry. They've banned out the Juggernaut, that's not an option. Razor's been taken out of the pool as well, and Razor would have been a good way to deal with the Lone Druid. I wonder, is this one of those greedy anti-mage games that Awake could pull out here? It does seem like an option, given that the rest of their 4 heroes can fight very early on and are fairly efficient space creators. But then again, an anti-mage versus an armor reduction lineup on the side of Mineski doesn't seem like the best way to go. Not to mention, there's plenty of lockdown already on the side of Mineski X. Gyrocopter is an option if they want that AoE magic damage to fight early. And of course, Gyro is one of the best heroes in mid-game phase. Oh no, we're going to see a Thailand favorite, that is the Morphling coming out. Back in the day, I remember watching the Lakel's Morph on Myth Trust, now known as Signature Trust. And it looks like some of that has rubbed off here on their counterparts, aka Awake. So Morphling is going to be the 5th and final pick for their team. And I do believe this will be a core Morphling.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, Mineski X might have a lot of stuns here. They are lacking in terms of silence, and they've got nothing to stop the Morphling from using the Morph when he gets stunned up. So bringing him down is going to be hard. Now, one way to change that would be to pick up a Silencer as their final pick, run it as a core Mirana, and run a mid lone druid versus the Zeus. That I could see that working, honestly. Nope, they'll go with the Ancient Apparition, so that's good enough. If not the Silencer, they have something else to prevent the Morphling from regenerating, and with the Ice Blast debuff, morphing into Strength might actually work against him. So a good rounded out draft coming out from Mineski X at the very end, but it's a mystery about who's going where. Nick does pick up the Mirana, so Johnny's going to be on the Slaughter, which means that we should see Kang going on the mid lone druid after all. We'll be jumping into the game in just a bit, folks. But as we do, I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you once again to everyone that's tuning in on the stream. It's been an absolute pleasure casting the first and second Manila Major Open qualifiers for the Southeast Asian region for you guys. And I hope you guys have been enjoying this stream as much as I've enjoyed putting it up for you. But here we go. Awake versus Mineski X in the quarterfinals, fighting for a shot at that best of 3 semi-final, where you can breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that you have a game in hand. Mineski X, Johnny's going to be handling the Slaughter on the offlane. He'll have Nick playing the core Mirana with Kang on the mid lone druid. X Nova is going to be playing the support Vengeful Spirit with Extinct on that Ancient Apparition. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Dota River, you've got Toy on the Morphling, you've got Fading on the Bounty Hunter, Opa on the Zeus. This is Brazil on the Lion, and Soltic on the Doombringer. Let's have a quick let's see if we can pair up these matchups and see who comes out ahead in the early, mid and late game phases. Mineski definitely have that early game pressure that they can apply with the triple stun Mirana, Vengeful, as well as the Slaughter. Slaughter is gonna have a fairly decent time in the offlane if things stay stable. I don't think the Morphling, Lion and the Bounty are enough to get rid of the Slaughter. But at the same time, Slaughter is not going to be able to slow down the Morphling's growth in any way whatsoever. Bounty Hunter, lots of riding on his rotations. If he can slow down the Lone Druid's growth at the middle lane, while allowing the Zeus to possibly even find a kill on that LD, maybe, just maybe, we could see Awake steamrolling away with this into the mid-game phase. And you've also got to remember, if Bounty gets a quick level 6, that's going to be a quick track online and an even quicker mechanism coming out for him, which will then help them to deal with Mineski X's onslaught. Looks like the G calls will come out. Solitic. Standard offlane Doom, but he hasn't picked up his items yet. He'll start with the Stout Shield, knowing that he's going to have to deal with the auto attacks from Extinct and X Nova. As for Kang, he started with the Magic Stick, knowing full well rather that he'll be up against the Zeus. He's going to need those stick charges to work with. The Bear, however, won't really feel the brunt of that Zeus and his spam. Bear's even started with a Stout Shield. He's going to be able to tank up some of the creeps, and if Zeus decides to start auto-attacking that bear for whatever reason, he's going to be pretty secure. So to start things off, Mineski X, they'll move into their jungle as a 4-man unit with Fading on the side of Awake, providing vision of that Mirana, preventing her from coming in. Now, they've spotted out the Observer being spotted, I believe. They should have... No, actually, Nick shouldn't have seen the Doom there. But there are pings coming out from Extinct. He does have the Sentry Ward, so perhaps he's going to be able to find the D Ward on this Observer. The horn has sounded. Opa is going to try and get that bounty. The bear is trying to sneak it, though. The Earth Spike will hold him in position as Zeus will get that bounty rune for himself. Cheeky attempt there from Kang, but he will find the rune for himself at bottom. But he's choosing not to spend the money on a salve this time around. He has a pool tango sent out to him, and that seems to be enough for him to sustain in the laning phase. I've never actually seen this matchup, I'll be honest. I haven't seen a Zeus versus a Lone Druid at mid. But I do feel like there's a lot of kill potential for this Lone Druid once he hits level 5. Especially if he opts to pick up an Orb of Venom. Meanwhile, at top, it is a dual lane for now with the Bounty Hunter missing from this lane. Where is the Bounty Hunter actually? He's at bottom. And he's almost going to get scouted. He's in the tree line here. Do they see each other? No, Mineski X doesn't see the bounty, but they are pinging where he could be standing. That's actually the Doom pinging it out. But with this Observer Ward, Bounty Hunter sees all and he's feeling fairly secure on the sidelines there. X Nova, now he's probably spotted out that this camp hasn't spawned. They might consider dropping the Sentry Ward here from Extinct, but oh, looks like Extinct's already used the Sentry Ward behind. They're going in here. Oh, the dust, it actually finds Fading, but he hasn't moved a muscle and will survive. They're going on Solid instead. They've managed to get one stun off on him. Physical damage, doing the work, but not enough. As Doom will back away and pop a salve, while Bounty continues to pretend to be AFK. Fading. Now he's going to get spotted out, but he'll immediately pop the Shadow Walk and get out of there.
Not for you.
Meanwhile, Johnny's opted to start with the poor man shield here, zoning him out a very daunting task indeed. But I do expect first blood to be taking place in this bottom lane sometime soon. Here we go, though. They do have the magic missile if they choose to throw it out. A dust was available as well, and I'm really surprised that they didn't go for that one. Possibly because Nick was not in a position to fire off an arrow. And with a 1.2 second stun duration, latching the arrow is a bit of a tall order. Meanwhile, at top lane, Johnny is just now bullying Toy out of this lane. They've managed to... Well, the creep wave has gone under the tier 1 tower, but Johnny's objective here is to prevent the Morphling from getting last hits under his tower. It isn't really to get a kill on the Morph, it's just to slow down his farm while continuing to leech his own EXP. He's up to level 3. Bottom lane, this could be a kill. They're going to get the Scorched Earth off on Doom though, and immediately they'll rethink their decision as they won't fire off the arrow. Quick thinking there from Solid keeps him alive. But they could come back in for round 2. Nick is going to get hit by the Bounty Hunter. He does have the Orb of Venom, and the Janata is starting to stack up as well. Let's have a look at this mid matchup again. Oh, that courier could be going down to the bear if he's not careful, but okay. Middle lane looks like the Lone Druid is doing just fine. He's at 16 CS now, while Opa's getting quite the beating from the Spirit Bear. He's almost at level 5 now, and he probably doesn't want to resummon the bear till he levels up, so that he does get that point in the entangle. The bear will be sent back. No, he's actually going to resummon. It doesn't matter actually, the bear does get upgraded. What am I saying? There it is, level 5, entangles online. No Orb of Venom on the bear, but still plenty of kill potential now available. If not kill potential, he's going to be able to zone out this Zeus quite efficiently. While bottom lane, there's a pull through coming in here on the stack camps, but Doom is in the vicinity to leech the EXP. That's a level 2.5 Doom, so let's compare the levels on both offlaners now. As Johnny, he's got the creep wave under his tower and is pushing level 5. With the Blightstone picked up earlier on, they really are putting their eggs into the negative armor basket. It's Fading. He's going to find X Nova. Do they really want to transition this into a kill? They do have the Alpha Wolf aura coming out from Solitic. Although I do believe he would have much rather preferred to have the Satyr Tormentor at this point. Sentry's gonna find a good D-ward there. But they're gonna get the stun off. They do have a dust, and this should be the death of the Bounty Hunter, scoring first blood for Extinct. While Solitic should be getting away. I'm gonna pan back top because Johnny looks like he's losing some HP as well. But he's gonna be A-okay for now. As Mineski X pulls slightly ahead in the early game phase here. They're actually winning all 3 lanes at this moment, with Johnny getting free EXP up top, Lone Druid out CSing the Zeus at the middle lane, and bottom lane they got first blood on the Bounty Hunter. So all in all, a great start here for Mineski X. Let's see if Awake can manage to turn things around on its head. Bounty is going to move back towards the bottom side now, and he will scout out Extinct. Well, Doom's coming in with that Alpha Wolf aura. This isn't a lane that can really find a kill, at least not up until they get a point in the Infernal Blade on Solitic. Well, Nick's gonna come through. They'll scout out the Doom and the Bounty Hunter, as Ancient Apparition takes up a slightly safer position. But this is just all sorts of wrong for Awake here on this top lane. I mean, it doesn't seem fair that the Slara is just standing beyond the river so far past and free farming in their faces. He's got 15 CS as an offlaner, and Awake is doing absolutely nothing to stop this. In fact, Johnny's even threatening to score a kill on Toy, who's got no more regenerative items on himself. There's the sprint that's been popped. This is Brazil, drops down the Earth Spike, but he's out of mana now. And Johnny's mission has been accomplished again, as he will chew through a tango and walk back. Where's the Zeus headed? He's made a base trip for now. No runes available for him to pick up, and that will force him back to the fountain. While Lone Druid, he's up to level 7 now and has that Druid form, which means he's nigh unkillable at this point. Lion, he's managed to steal some mana from Johnny as X-Nova's coming with the Arcane Rune. Opa's going to show himself. He'll get the stun, the Wave of Terror off, and that will allow Johnny to dodge a bullet. With the Zeus rotating in, they do have the burst damage to bring down the Slara, but given that the Zeus has moved out, Lone Druid knows that he can start applying pressure on this tier 1 tower, and he does manage to force out a fortification. Solitic, meanwhile, he's managed to find some free space on this map as well. With the Venge rotating off the lane, Doom knows that the kill potential on him is pretty much unavailable on the side of Mineski X. He's almost at level 6 now, and once he gets it, there should be a possible play being made. Meanwhile, top Johnny will get run down, and that should be his death. The stick charges keep him alive a little longer, while Toy's taking a beating himself. Here comes the Venge, drops the Wave of Terror, but knows that the morph is available. The Strength morph allows Toy to deter a magic missile being hit on his face. So nobody dies at the end of that. The Zeus ult gets baited out, and things return to normal. Well, Kang, does he have the Midas online? Yep, that's a sub 7-minute Midas that's been picked up on a mid Lone Druid. He's got 46 CS, and he's having a ball of a time here. And at this point, there's nothing that this Bounty Hunter can do to him. A rotation from the Bounty towards the middle lane before he hits 6 might have actually worked out in their favor, but he's just been so focused on slowing down this Mirana's growth in the bottom lane. I'm actually questioning some of these decisions here being made by Awake. That Observer Ward is in range of the Sentry though. They're gonna have a Moonlight Shadow popped. Don't think that was scouted out. The Moonlight Shadow isn't for this bottom lane. I think it's more for the top, but they're trying anyway. Arrow comes through. They do have a Star Storm available, but it was just a miniature arrow that they were hoping to chain up with the Cold Feet. It didn't work, but meanwhile, top lane, Johnny, along with X-Nova, managed to find a kill on the Lion, and again, this off-lane Slaughter is getting way more than he deserves in the lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now Doom is at level 6 and he does have the ult available. He'll be content to drop an Infernal Blade though, as he backs away now. He's got a Mango available if he wants to drop the Doom and another Infernal Blade the next time around. Meanwhile, the arrow looks like it just barely skirted past Fading, who's now going to get scouted out by that Sentry. But I really feel like the big winner of this early game is Kang on his Lone Druid. He's been completely uncontested here in the middle lane. His bear is now chewing straight through the middle tier 1 tower. Missed a kill. Bottom lane, Mirana gets one on the Bounty. Action's broken out as Extinct gets doomed. They'll get the double kill for the Mirana, who now leaps forward onto Opa. Double kill for the Zeus as he returns the favor. Gets stunned by the Venge and gets run down by the Mirana, who's gonna get herself a triple. Nope. X-Nova says that one's mine, friend. But overall, a trade that heavily favors Mineski X. They end up trading 3 for 2 and even take down the tier 1 at mid. Lone Druid, he's looking good for an early Radiance this game. He's up to 1600 gold, just 9 minutes in, or rather 10 minutes in. We do have that aggressive Observer Ward placed down by Awake once again, if they really want to dive past this tier 1 tower, but given that they're on the back foot, I don't think that that ward's really going to add as much value as they would like. The bounty hunter, he's inching closer to level 6, so the track should come online soon. But Toy, again, he gets amped up, and his agility, the armor that he gets from his agility has now been negated with that amp damage from Johnny. Speaking of Johnny, he's still got just the Blightstone. He did suffer a death at that bottom lane, which sets his Blink Dagger behind by just a little bit. While Nick and X-Nova, they're now under cover of a smoke. So the one position Mirana is going to start getting active on this map here. Opa, just got to be careful. The Thunder God's Wrath will scout out. There's a couple of heroes missing. X-Nova's running in, doesn't get in range for the stun. They're going to try an arrow anyway. It's going to fly, but it'll whiz past his ear as Opa makes a run for it. While on the bottom lane, Doom does manage to run down the Ancient Apparition, and that's probably what the Thunder God's Wrath was for. Back at top, the tier 1's now starting to get pressured as Johnny's going to get zoned out under his own tower. But the fortification will help stem the bleeding a little bit. While Opa rotates himself to the bottom lane, top lane, they're going to try and make a play. The Ice Blast will connect. Mirana's going to jump forward. The Earth Spike gets dodged by the Mirana, and that damage from the Phase Boots will be enough to secure the kill, along with the amp damage. Nick, he may not be sitting and farming, but he's farming heroes at this point. He's 3-0-2, while the scoreline for the team is 6-3 in their favor. Sure, they're going to sack their tier 1 at bottom, but it comes at the price of a Lion's death and possibly their own tier 1 tower at top. Lone Druid, he's rotating himself up there as well, and he has 2400 gold in the bank. But Awake looks like they want to pressure the tier 1 themselves in lieu of their tower at top lane.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Soltic, he's at 1400 gold now. And I'm wondering if this is going to be a Blink Dagger rush for him, or if he's just going to go for the drums and in-your-face build. Moonlight Shadow's been popped. It's been scouted out though. The High Ground Observer Ward will be dewarded on the back of that. But Awake will dodge a bullet, while Kang continues to unload his cannons on the top lane. At bottom, Toy, let's have a look at his farm. He's at 67 CS and he's 4th on the net worth charts. Lone Druid still the clear victor of everything that's gone down in the first 12 minutes of this game. At 2800 gold, he is looking beastly now. Opa, he's got himself the Veil, so the damage output from Awake cannot be ignored. That arrow's gonna fly, but again it'll be dodged. There was a ward placed down that should have scouted the arrow coming in before it actually connected. Meanwhile, Awake's gonna drop a scan on the minimap, and Mineski X, the positions have been revealed. They're trying to use this Zeus as a pseudo bait, but they don't want to commit wholeheartedly. They do have the swap available on the Vengeful Spirit now, which means initiation is no longer a problem for Mineski X. Here we go. They're gonna pop a smoke, but I don't think Toy is gonna stick around for more than this creep wave. Getting a kill on this morph is gonna be next to impossible here, and especially once the Lone Druid shows himself in the lane. It should be warning bells for Toy, but no, he's decided to stick around. The Ice Blast is gonna come through, and that's a dead morph. Just the greed getting the better out of him there. His spidey sense is not tingling hard enough, as Mineski X does find a very crucial pickoff on the one position of Awake. Middle lane though, you've got a smoke that's been used by the entirety of Awake. That smoke's gonna get dispelled, and immediately Nick presses the panic button to leap away as his teammates will demolish the bottom tier 1 tower without a contest. But did I say without a contest? Looks like they're coming in. Johnny will reveal the position of this Doom. He's gonna get crushed, then the amp. It should be the other way around, but fair enough. The tower goes down. Kang's on the run. He's got 4000 gold and cannot afford to die here. Savage Roar will send Toy packing as Solitic continues the chase. The crush comes through before he can Doom. He goes down. The Ice Blast hits. The Bear's gone down as well as Kang gets fingered in the back. He's trying to make a run for it. Toy uses the Replicate to get closer to him. They will bring down the Lone Druid finally, as Johnny's now on the run. The Moonlight Shadow doesn't do too much against the track, but the sprint will help him increase the gap between him and his opponents, as he will scurry on out to safety. As the dust settles, I believe it was a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Awake, and I'm not sure how many of those were track kills. But the Doom went down. The even bigger deal is that the Lone Druid got picked off, and some of his money has been erased. Lone Druid's pretty much been farming. He's just been free farming for the most part. So it is a lot of unreliable gold that he was stacking up. But I believe tower gold is reliable gold, and he's taken down 3 tier 1 towers, or his team's taken down 3 tier 1 towers, which is why the blow was not as decisive as Awake might have liked. Toys opted to pick up the Ogre Club here, so are we seeing a Sanjin Yasha coming out from this morph, or perhaps a first item BKB for him? I wonder if a Dragon Lance into a Hurricane Pike is an option on Morphling. I've never actually thought about it.
Double damage.
Up top, Solitix got the Doom online, and that's his moment to shine. He's going to pop the Phase Boots, but again, the Lone Druid with his bear will scout out this Doom coming in, and a kill is going to be impossible. Mineski X does play Dota that's very uncharacteristic of the rest of Southeast Asia. Most of the Southeast Asian teams I've seen, they love playing aggressive Dota with fight after fight. You can see Awake already attempting that with the Bounty Hunter pickup as well. That sort of playstyle would benefit them. But Mineski X knows that fighting into track would not be a great idea. Instead, they'll play slow Dota, farm up their cores, and only take fights when absolutely necessary. This sort of Dota does take up it does require a lot of discipline on your part, and Mineski X, they're definitely showing that they have that discipline in them. Mirana building towards the Ags again, so we're not going to see her straying from her regular build. They'll be relying on the magic damage that she brings to the table. Well, Johnny will now slow down the pace of things to pick up his Blink Dagger before forcing another fight. A quick look at the graphs again. Mineski X only slightly in the lead. It's been going up and down though. Awake has been showing signs of life, but Mineski X is now slowly regaining map control by dewarding everything on their side. Well, Toy, he is going for the first item BKB this game, but again it's going to come against a lot of physical DPS that Mineski brings to the table. The Ice Blast, sure, it's not going to dish out damage, and the Shatter won't proc from the Ice Blast debuff, but at the same time, I don't feel the Morphling's going to have enough damage to bring to the table here, and a lot's going to be riding on this Doom with his Vlads to be running in on the front lines and soaking up a couple of spells. Meanwhile, Kang, he'll buy himself the Infused Raindrops, and there's the Radiance finished up on the Bear 18 minutes in. Mineski X, they're hitting that power spike moment again as they're going in with Johnny. They're gonna spot out the Zeus illusion that cancels out his blink. They will, however, get the crush and the amp off on This Is Brazil, whose Lion gets taken out. The arrow connects on Fading from downtown as well, but they haven't really spotted this, or they're not committing on him. They're gonna let him live for now. But the Lone Druid looks like he wants to change that. Now the dust comes through, the amp is there as well. They're praying for an entangle, but it's not gonna happen. The toss is there, and finally he will get the entangle off as the Bounty Hunter goes down. The bear gets taken out, gets resummoned immediately. But as the dust settles again, it's a 2-for-0 trade in favor of Mineski X. Taking down both supports on the side of Awake, and they'll now look to transition this into a tier 2 tower takedown.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Kang continues to farm with that Midas. Or maybe he's just not going to use it, or he's lost track of it. Efficiency, please. At middle lane, we're seeing Awake grouping up like they want to fight and take this tier 1 tower. Mineski X does have the tools to fight back though. I don't think it is the best choice for Awake to try and take a fight. Opa, will he get clipped by the arrow? Yep, that's going to be a dead Zeus again. They will spare no expense, even throwing an Ice Blast over his corpse. And a Magic Missile from the Venge too. Another pick off, and possibly another objective to be secured here by Mineski X, as they'll start barreling down this middle lane. With the tier 2 tower on about 3/4 HP, they should be able to take it down comfortably, although there is a fortification available on the side of Awake. Seeing a backstab here from the bounty. Nope, he's just going to drop down a couple of tracks
Dire's
before
middle
backing
tower
away. But Johnny once more. He sees him with the dust, drops the amp, and there's the crush. It'll catch two as Doom walked into it as well. The arrow connects on fading, but Johnny might pay for this with his life. The Savage Roar is there, the swap defensively as well. Johnny does drop down to the Infernal Blade, but they've managed to take out the Bounty Hunter in his stead, and it ends up being a 1-for-1 that this time around does favor Awake, considering it was a track kill as well. Meanwhile, Opa, he's opted to get himself a bit more mobility with the Blink Dagger, as opposed to maybe the Ether Lens for the damage boost. So he's going to try and keep his distance from that Lone Druid Spirit pair, but Lone Druid, he could be caught off guard here. He does have the Savage Roar, but he's at only a half HP. They've even pinged out where he might be hiding, but there's no blink on the line, and that could be troublesome. The Veil gets dropped. There's the Thunderbolt on his head. Lion's walking in as well. He does have the finger. No, he doesn't actually have the finger. Savage Roar comes through. The Thunder God's Wrath gets dropped, and Zeus pretty much solo kills him there by kiting around him. Well played there by Opa. Really bringing his team back into this one. Bringing down the highest net worth hero in the game all by his lonesome. Middle lane, Solidic. He wants to jump in here, but he's popped this cost out a little preemptively by the looks of it. They do want to go though, because Toy's in the vicinity as well. He's got a full 10-second BKB if he wants to use it to fight. But they're going 2 versus 4 into a tier 1 tower where you could possibly have TPs coming in. So they'll decide against it instead, moving into the Rosh pit. Awake, they look like they are getting back into the driver's seat here and controlling the momentum of this game, with Mineski X getting pushed to the ropes.
Double damage.
Caution pings onto X Nova, who does manage to find a D-ward just above his tier 1 tower. Once again though, the graphs tell the true story, as the spike is slightly downward. Johnny, he was hoping to find an initiation there onto the enemy high ground, but it's a lot easier now that they're under cover of a smoke. Mineski X do not want to throw away their advantage. Morphling does have a replicate available, but if they can blow him up before he jumps to it, things could work out really well. Oh, the Aghanim Scepter from Mirana. That's a dead giveaway that they were under cover of the smoke. But it doesn't matter, because Solidic will get found out in the jungle and blown up with the arrow anyway. As Nick will find that kill. Mineski X, they've got a creep wave pushing in at top lane as well, so they could well take down this tier 2 tower, which is pretty much on a sliver of HP at the moment.
tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Kang, he manages to find the Vlads on himself
Tower is under attack.
for his Lone Druid, in addition to that Radiance.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Mineski X, they're really feeling confident at this point, even threatening high ground by the looks of it, just trying to force out the rotation perhaps. They do have a swap. Arrow will not connect. That is wishful thinking, hoping that the arrow connects there, but it's worth an effort.
Swifter than ever.
Johnny looks like he's going back for the armlet this game, realizing that he will need to be a source of physical DPS for his teammates, especially since they've spotted the BKB on Toy's Morphling. He's now building towards a Lincoln's as his next item over and above it. So we know that Thailand has shown Morphling as one of their stronger heroes. They know that they definitely know how to play this hero, and they've been using him through the ages. So we cannot underestimate Awake taking this to the late game phase. The Replicate walking behind that lion, hoping to find a pick off, but Mineski X, again, they're just grouping up, not allowing any sort of respite here for Awake. They're not going to find any solo pickoffs. Well, the Bounty Hunter, he will reveal some positions here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Opening up the charts, you've got Mineski X with a 5,000 lead, with a 4,000 EXP lead in their favor as well. Aghanims finished up on Mirana, as pointed out earlier. She's now moving in towards the BKB. I'm not too certain how this game's going to play out, because as things stand, it's sort of about he who strikes first is the one that wins. We're seeing Awake trying to make a smoke play here, but they're going to be met by a smoke rotation from Mineski X as well. They're coming all the way around. The wraparound will be catching out Mineski X with their pants down. Big play coming out from the line, catching out two. They'll blow up the Slaughter as well as the Mirana. That's 2 cores deleted from the side of Mineski X, as Awake will now continue the rush down on X Nova's Venge. The stun from ClouDx will stop him in his tracks. Meanwhile, on the backlines, Kang does manage to finish up on the Zeus. His bear is still going on a rampage on a warpath here, with Fading having no mana to get out of this. He's regenerating with the Void Stone, but the track movement speed allows him to increase the gap. All the while though, you've got Toy just sitting up top, split pushing and farming and taking objectives in the form of this tier 1 tower. Awake have definitely shown signs of life there. And heck, they might even get more, because the Lone Druids come in here. ClouDx is thinking of giving chase, but they do have the Savage Draw. Toy still going forward. They're going to get the Ice Blast off. If he gets an Entangle, that's a dead Morphling. Morph might just go down anyway, but he's forced to pop the BKB now. Now ClouDx, he's on the run. The Bear Radiance Burn is all that's gonna bother him. As Kang continues to chase, they'll throw out the Amp on him, but they still can't catch up to him. He's got the Scorched Earth. There's a Rabbit on the Bear. The blink is being cancelled though with the Radiance Burn. This is going to be a long and painful chase, as Johnny's going to get the blink in 2 seconds time. Blinks forward, turns on his armlet and pummels away. And with that, they'll even get an Entangle. As Lone Druid gets the kill. The Bear does go down to the Infernal Blade. The swap's now there onto This Is Brazil. He'll go down as a side casualty, and they're moving forward further. Fading. There's no way to reveal his invisibility, and that should be the end of that skirmish. A very long one indeed, that started with Toy and the Doombringer looking to take down the Lone Druid, which then ended up in them turning it around with a 2-0 kill for Mineski X. Immediately, they will set their eyes on Roshan, as this over-glorified rock golem, who's just been minding his own business, will now be beaten to death by Mineski X. Aegis should be secured here for Kang's Lone Druid, but they're looking to commit. They're not going to get there in time. Just too much negative armor and physical DPS on the side of Mineski X secures them the Aegis. We're going to see a Lotus Orb pick up here on this Bounty Hunter. So I can get behind that. I feel like more than the actual reflect from the Lotus Orb, it's for the arrow from Mirana, or the extreme amount of stuns coming out from Mineski X that could be dispelled. There is a completed Ether Lens now, finished up on this Zeus. So his damage output is absolutely absurd at this point. Awake, they are definitely starting to show that they're not out of it just yet, with Morphling continuing to free farm on the side, but Mineski X will still continue to gain a lead, as they'll now set their sights on this bottom tier 2 tower. Morphling will continue to pressure out the top lane as fast as he possibly can. He's getting closer and closer to his own Lincoln Sphere, but is still a decent ways off. While Lone Druid, he's managed to get a full Assault Cuirass on that Bear. It doesn't do too much in the face of the Zeus. Next Nova, he's gonna pay for this D-Ward attempt with his life. They'll blow him up with the Wraith Fire Blast, the Finger and the Toss. The arrow will clip the line behind. Fading goes down to the Bear. They're trying to bring the Bear down. The Ice Blast whiffs completely, while Mirana is just running around hoping to get those passive Starfalls to do some damage. Another 1-for-1 trade, but a track kill I believe for Awake. But even the BKB gets baited out by Toy, which is a minor victory for Mineski X, as they'll even bring down the tier 2 tower at the bottom lane. That said though, there is no resummon on this Bear for a good 100 seconds, which might be a deterrent for Mineski X to try and breach high ground. Meanwhile, Ancient Apparition, aka Extinct, he's getting closer to an Aghanims of his own. Just 1,000 gold to go before he has the whole damn thing And that Midas is just helping to accelerate his growth
Radiant's
towards
middle
it.
tower is under attack.
Lion's Blink Dagger though. Still nowhere over the horizon to be seen. Well, Toy is about to get that Lincoln Sphere online. Nyx got himself a full 10-second BKB as well, but I'm starting to think a Lincoln Sphere would have actually been a great choice to deal with the Doom this game. But either way, the BKB is going to help versus the Lion and the Zeus. It's not too shabby, but middle lane, bye-bye Lion, as he gets stunned by the crush from Johnny, followed up with the bear. Lone Druid finds himself a dominating streak, and the hunt is on as Slaughter, he's going to find the crush. Solidix TP's been cancelled, and this is going to be horrible as the Doom's going to go down. He does have the buyback, but we can't say the same for the Lion, who's out for a good 30 seconds. With the Aegis still on Kang, a resummon available on the bear, it looks like they might be prepped and ready to reach high ground. There's the swap. Zeus immediately blinks away, but Johnny blinks straight after him. They'll force the buyback from the Doom, but that's still going to be a dead Zeus who can't buy back into this fight. Toy's going to TP in. He'll get Savage Road immediately and sent back to the fountain. While Kang starts beating up on the racks. His fortification comes out. It's a bit late, but better late than never. But however, the Raxes do still look like they're going to drop. He's going to fly. Creep wave will spawn, however. Well, Mirana comes in with those starfalls, cleans up the creep wave. They're going in on the Doom, but that's a replicate. Nick even jumps forward. They've been baited in, but the Raxes have been taken down, and Mineski X finds themselves the objective that they came hunting for in the first place. Bear's on the run. It's going to get hit by the Infernal Blade, and RIP Bear.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Alfredo will be missed. Kang's going to TP back home or towards the bottom lane, but Mineski X have now left a massive hole inside the enemy base and will be happy with themselves as they move forward in the bottom lane. Full Maelstrom finished up. Mjolnir's on the horizon as well for Kang, and it's going to be his next set of shiny new toys coming out, with Mineski X getting another power surge before the next team fight. The Aegis reclaimed, and Roshan's going to respawn in 4 minutes, so it's going to be a relatively quick respawn on the big man. Awake. They know that they're going to have to fight closer towards this bottom lane next, which is why the Lions made a good decision to start dewarding their cliffs. Just any little advantage that they can get would be useful at this point. Meanwhile, there's the full Aghanim Scepter now finished up on the Ancient Apparition. And his Ice Blast is gonna hurt like a truck. In fact, the BKB on Toy will no longer be as effective. I believe Ice Blast with the Ags has a 16-second Frostbite duration. Okay, looks like it's 17-second duration. Whereas the BKB on Toy is now down to 9 seconds. Or 8 seconds, actually. Mineski X barreling down like men on a mission on this bottom lane. Fading. He's gonna start dropping out the tracks. X-Nova doesn't give two hoots as he walks straight up the cliff. The bear's already chewing through the tower. The veil gets dropped by the Zeus. Solitic, he's looking for an opportunity to jump in. The arrow, oh, just barely whizzes past the Doom, which might have just been an invitation for them to jump up onto the high ground. There's a pause coming out from the Lone Druid. Unfortunately, it looks like there might be... Oh, okay, looks like he misclicked it. They're ready to go again. Last game, we did see Mineski having some lags, but it looks like their internet stabilized for this particular one. Here we go. This could be the push that ends it and secures their slot in the semi-finals. Awake are gonna look to try and fight this with everything they've got, but the tier 3's already gone down. The bear will come back after taking the tower, and Mineski will rinse and repeat. But this time, they'll be looking for axes. There's no fortification available. The bear actually has a TP scroll given to it as it goes back to base to heal up. Not a bad play at all. Kang is going to bring it back in just a bit. And I heard the sprint from the Slaughter. He was looking to jump up, but they've placed down an observer ward to watch for the Slaughter jumping in here. But again, just using the bear on the front lines. Well, Awake will do everything they can to try and bring down the bear. The arrow is gonna fly. It'll whiz past the replicate as well. It seems a bit too obvious that it's a Doom replicate. Round 3, fight, says Mineski X. The bear's moving up, and again I think range axes will be the focus of this bear. But Doom decides he's had enough of this. He'll jump onto Johnny, who'll get doomed up. They'll try and burst him down, but he's not going to go down that easy. Kang, however, is now getting focused. They'll defensively swap him out. The bear's still doing work on the front lines, but is now out of range and can't get any hits in, as Awake has managed to find one kill on the Venge, killed off the bear, and secured their axes for now. Mineski X sent right back to their own base, while Johnny had no response after being doomed. What looked like it could have been a very hasty initiation from Awake turns out to be one that favors them. Solitic making the right decision to doom up the Slaughter, the only source of AoE disabled on the side of Mineski X. The Venge looks like she went down to the Zeus in that fight, which means that I do believe it was a track kill as well. He's up to 2100 gold now. Awake showing some signs of life yet again, while Mineski X just cannot deliver the final finishing blow. Meanwhile, Doom, if that is going to be a Shiver's Guard, he's getting mighty close to it, but I would assume it's just a casual plate mill to deal with the amp damage from the Slaughter. But this is the problem with the Doom. He's now out of Doom. Oh, Toy, no! Not like this! Morphling's down, 60 seconds without him, without the one position of Awake. And that'll be Rax's. Is this the last nail in the coffin here for Team Awake? They've got the fortification, but again it looks like it's a premature one. With the bear still standing on the low ground, the resummon's not available for 30 seconds. This is risky. The bear will get the Raxes down. Opa's gonna get stun locked. The swap is there to pull him in further, and he'll hit the deck. He does have a buyback, doesn't choose to use it just yet. It's 2 Raxes down now in favor of Mineski X, and the courier will die to add insult to injury. Top Rax is going to be focused now as the bear goes to work. We're going to see TP coming out. It's going to get cancelled by the lion, but Zeus will commit to that TP. The bear could go down, but on the back lines, Doom's hit the deck. He's down for 70 seconds. No Morphling for 20. And Mineski X look like they're good to finish this. Bear's going to be TP'd back to base. He does have a resummon now, while Opa's already dropped the Thunder God's Wrath. It serves as nothing but a deterrent because Johnny is still alive. Mineski X playing calm and patient Dota here. They want these Raxes, but they don't want to throw this game. Even though they're 2 Raxes ahead, they're going to play it slow. The tier 3 tower is about to go down. They've swapped the Zeus illusion. The bear has a BKB and it pops it and starts laying straight into the melee Raxes. Savage Roar used, connects on nothing. But the melee Raxes are about to drop. Lone Druid, micro please. Those Raxes could have been taken down and he just focused the Raxes instead of the Bounty Hunter. Doesn't matter though, it'll come back again to finish what it started. The bear does get picked off, but it has the resummon. And there's only 1 ranged Rax left here for Awake to defend. Remember, this is a best of 1 quarterfinal, and if Awake cannot defend their Rax and can't make nothing short of a miraculous comeback, they're going to be knocked out, while Mineski X will move on to the semi-finals. In fact, look at the caution and discipline being displayed here. Before going for the final jugular, before cutting through the jugular, they're going to go for the Aegis once again. Just to make sure that they can't make another mistake here. Mineski X, truly the mindset of champions here. As they'll now move back to hammer the last nail in the coffin of Team Awake. Let's have a quick look at the items on the side of Awake before the next fight breaks out. It's now or never for them. Lotus Orb finished up on the Bounty. You've got a Shiver's Guard on the Doom. Ethereal Blade along with the Lincolns and the BKB on the morph, so they can definitely blow up a target if they choose to commit. The Finger of Death's available on the line, who's got himself an Ether Lens, and Zeus, he's got himself a Ghost Scepter, but the BKB Bear has walked right in. The Raxes are down, and it doesn't matter how many Awake can kill right now because this one is in the bag for Mineski X. The Slaughter's gone down, the gems hit the deck. Kang is going to work on Opa. He'll pick up the gem while he's at it as well. And we're just milliseconds away from the GG being called as Toy, the only survivor, gets back to base as Solitic taps out. That's it for Awake. They're going to get knocked out of the open qualifiers of the Manila Major, whereas Mineski X will move forward to the semi-finals. We'll find out... Well, okay. Casual pause as he disconnects from the game there. Unintentional, I would assume. But yep, as I was saying, Mineski X, your first semi-finalists, and they will be facing off in a best of 3. We'll find out who their opponents are in just a little bit. So stay tuned, folks. This is ClouDx from AFK Gaming coming right back, and again, a big shout out and a big thank you to everyone that's tuning in and supporting the stream. It's been an absolute pleasure casting this game for you, and I hope you've been enjoying.